Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to integrate the Behavior Designer for Everybody by Ipsiv and Animal Controller or Malbers Character Controller by Malbers Animation by a package called Behavior Designer for Malbers Animations by Apex Caliber Software. So let's have some fun. I've already taken the liberty of preloading all the packages and stuff so you don't have to wait. Things you have to realize when you are importing is that you need all three packages for this to work. You need the Behavior Designer and Malbers as base packages, and to integrate you need the Behavior Designer for Malbers Animations, realizing that if you don't have Behavior Designer or Malbers Animations, the Behavior Designer Malbers Animation package will do absolutely nothing and it'll in fact throw errors in the console. So you need all three for this to work properly. So let's start. First things first is we're going to have to create some place for the behaviors to run on. So create a simple plane. Let's make it, let's reset it because it's floating in Never Neverland right now. So we'll put it at 0, 0, 0. And what we want is, let's make it a 10 by 10 plane. Oh, nice. Malbers gives us a couple of neat things hidden in their package. One of them is a nice ground for doing testing with. I believe it's called ground 2. It's a nice green one with a, I don't know what they call this thing, compass, I guess. And then for any animations to work currently that may change in the future, according to Malber, I believe, is that you require a nav mesh for it to work. So we'll add to the plane itself an nav mesh surface, and then we'll bake it on there. And we got this nice, or actually pretty ugly, blue on top of the thing. So let's hide that for now because we don't really need to see it anymore. We just know it's there. The first thing we want to do is let's create a character to add a behavior to. Let's open up Malbers Animation. Open up. Let's start with Wolf. And you can bring in almost any of these. The easiest to work with and least configuration needed are ones that actually already say AI in them. So let's bring in Wolf Light, and let's center him on there. Let's take a look at him. Green. I don't know how many green wolves you know in your lifetime, but it's not one I particular. So let's change his colors so that yeah, there should be something here like appearance. There we go. And then let's change them to be, that's not bad, gold. There's gold's a much better color for a wolf as far as I'm concerned. And while we're at it, since this is AI, we're not going to allow any type of user interactions. We can get rid of the point and click or disable it. You won't need that at all. Now, as you can see, he's just standing there doing pretty well nothing. Adjust the screen. It's set up a camera for him to see to watch him. And there, so you select the camera, and then you will line of view, and now your camera will show that when you run the game, when you play the game, you'll see that after it builds, that it's happily in an idle state as you would expect it to. So he's hooked up to Malbers. Malbers is working fine, but he looks pretty bored. So let's fix that. Also, I don't like the name Wolf Light AI. It's calling him Big Bad Wolf. Why not? Now he's looks more impressive. So the first thing you want to do is to add two Big Bad, a component called a behavior designer component called, in fact, behavior tree. And you can give it the name, I guess, Big Bad Behavior. And then we'll open up the behavior component designer itself. Let's dock it up over here so it's in here and out of the way. And since it's hooked out to Big Bad, let's make our first foray into behavior, and then let's get him to wander around so that he doesn't, at least doesn't look so bored. The poor guy's just standing there. So from Malbers, so you'll get a list of all the Malbers stuff, and then let's get him to wander. Very simple. And then let's see if he wanders when we start this up. Okay, there he goes. He's just wandering, and he just wandered off the camera. Now let's say Big Bad has his favorite tree, and he wants to protect it, so he doesn't want to wander too far away from the tree. So let's add a tree to the scene. Again, Malbers comes to the rescue and has something called tree V2. There we go. And we'll just oops, I'm in game view. We're going to be in scene view. We'll put the tree there. Oh, it's a tree that everybody loves. Christmas tree, I guess. And then let's put it at a location so it's just cleaner so we can look at the numbers easier if we need to. Now we have a tree in the game, we have one issue. The animals will just walk right through it as if he's not there, if it's not there. So we got to fix that issue first before we do anything. And so add to tree, we're going to add a nav mesh obstacle to it. And we're going to want to make it shape a capsule, and we can keep the defaults for that. We want to carve out the area where Big Bad or anybody else won't just walk through the tree as if it weren't there. Now we want Big Bad to actually protect this tree as opposed to just wander around aimlessly around this area. So we can go back to his behavior by clicking up here on Big Bad himself and clicking on the behavior designer, which you can, and we have the wander. You can click on wander and then the inspector, and you can get some variables that will can improve the accuracy or how Wander itself works. So we want him to wander in a certain region, and we want to have him wander around the tree. So therefore, you put the tree the center of his wandering location, and we'll let him wander about 15 meters, I guess, away from the tree. So he stays close to the proximity where this tree is. So for that, let's widen the view of where we see a little bit so he doesn't just wander off beyond the view here. Set the camera, and then we will align to view. So therefore we'll get rid of the blue, ugly blue, and then let's have Big Bad wander around. So he's wandering, but you'll notice if we watch him long enough that he will not leave the vicinity of the tree. He will stay nicely in there, making sure that he doesn't get too far from the tree, just in case somebody like our next character, Steve, might do. Steve's been known to cut down trees, which I'm sure Big Bad's wouldn't be too happy about. So we're going to add Steve to the thing. Again, we'll pick Steve AI. And put him over here someplace so that he's in the scene, but not really close enough to anger Big Bad at all. So let's rename Steve, because Steve AI seems a little pompous, I guess. I don't know. We'll just call him Steve. We don't need it anymore. So now he won't be affected by user inputs of any sort. We also now want to have Steve have a behavior. So the first thing we want to do for him is to also give him a behavior tree to work with. And we'll call it Steve's behavior, for lack of a better name. And Steve has a goal in mind. He wants to go and see the tree. So he's not going to just wander, though he's not in a hurry. So he's actually going to meander to the tree. Meandering is a little different in that it has a target, but it takes your time and you have a chance to smell the roses. So Steve's going to want to ultimately target the tree. So he wants to go to the tree, but he's going to stop every once in a while and smell some roses. So we can have him take a half second smelling, between half second and maybe a second and a half to smell some roses. Now the meandering radius is how far you'll deviate from going straight to the path, and that's the area that he's willing to go beyond. So let's make that a little bit smaller. And bias is how directly he wants to go towards the path. So we don't want to go straight there. It's 35. So now we have Steve meandering. We're going to see what happens now. Steve's just wandering around. You know, look, Wolf's happy. But you notice the wolf doesn't even notice Steve, which probably isn't a good thing. Now that we've got that, we're going to want Big Bad to actually not let Steve get so close to his tree. So the first thing we're going to do is let's bring up Big Bad's behavior. In the designer, some extra behaviors that we've created in the past. And we have one that's called enemy behavior, which character stays idle, does nothing unless somebody bad comes towards him, then he will seek towards him. But while seeking, if something even bigger than him comes along, he will run away. We don't really need all of it. We just really need this portion here. So let's copy that, and let's go back to Big Bad's behavior and move that over a bit. Paste this in, and instead of idling, we're actually going to wander. So let's set him to wandering. But it's also it's more of a life or death situation. So if Steve decides to fight back, he may not make it. So let's change just the repeat forever to repeat while alive. And we'll remove the repeat part and just have, so if this is a repeat while he's alive. The C target, we want to have him look at, we're not going to use tags in this time. We're actually going to create a use target object. So we'll add one object that the Big Bad will look at, and that object will be Steve. So we have Steve in there. Whenever Big Bad sees Steve, he won't seek him. In fact, he's going to pursue him. So we're going to add the pursue task. And who's he going to pursue? But the output of this, what he sees. So Big Bad will be looking around. He will see Steve, but he will also return what he sees. So pursue will take in, not that way, he will take in the target thing that was seen by previously. And we can make it so that he's more accurate in his predictions of where Steve is going to go, so we can go more directly to it. I'm going to run this, and you'll see that nothing happens, and there's an issue that I'll try to point out. Oh, there's more than one issue. So there's, first of all, why isn't Big Bad moving? First of all, see why that was, because that was unexpected. I didn't check to see who was alive. So we have to actually add which characters are alive to be checking. This checks more than one character. When you set none, it sets it to itself. And you can add more people to the list, and it'll check a group of people to see if they're all alive. So let's see if that fixed it. There we go. Now he's alive. But even though Steve's comes to him, he ignored him. It's like, there's something going on here. So what we can do is I'm going to adjust the screens a little bit here. So the behavior designer over here, and then let's put the scene above it just so we can see some stuff here. And then let's move into where Steve is. And let's pause. Okay, now let's find Steve. First thing we have to know is that the C functionality is done by sending out rays from the wolf looking for where Steve is. Thing is, if you see down here, it's at Steve's, according to behavior, is at his feet. The problem being is if you look at his capsule collider, it's nowhere near his feet. So when the wolf looks, he doesn't see Steve at all because he's looking, he may see feet, but he's actually trying to look for the capsule collider. There's two ways to solve this. First way is just to lower the capsule collider. I don't want to change the functionality of Malbers Animations. So the other solution is to actually change how Big Bat looks. He will actually be able to look a little bit higher than his feet to see if he can find it. And we might as well change what he looks from because he's also looking from his feet. So we want to have him look from higher up as well. So, and actually, I guess Steve's still taller, so we can have him look a little bit higher than just there. So now if we run this, down the bottom window here, it's still small, so I can make it bigger while we're... Oh, he spotted him. There he goes. He's actually going after him right now. So, and then Steve got away from him, but once he spots him again, he will start to target him again. And there he goes after him again. And he found him. I'm sure Big Bad gets sick of just chasing Steve around. I think he'd like to take a few big chunks out of him. So to do that, I've got another external behavior snippet or whatever that we can start from. Saves us some time. This one contains a simple fight behavior. You can, it comes in, it checks to see if everybody's alive. If you don't have a weapon, it tells you, it will go make you run towards them. Then you make sure that you're facing your target. You then attack it, wait, and then if you have ammo, and you're out of ammo, then it reloads. Simple. Big Bad doesn't have most of that, so we'll just take the chunk out of here at the center, copy that, and then let's go to Big Bad Wolves, and pursue over and paste in while both alive. In fact, we don't even want to move the pursue over. We want the pursue over here. And it's going to be part of the sequence itself. And we also want the sequence to join that. But the problem is, now you see is it's gone red here, is that the alive function needs to have animals. And what comes out of the can't see is an object. For instance, the wolf may be looking down the street and see a car coming, which is definitely not an animal. So to fix that, we can add the task, an action of animal to object to animal. And this can take in that. And when you go into here with this one, inspector, it converts what came out of here and returns an animal. Now you have two options. You can create a variable, or since this is a one-time operation, we can create something dynamic and call it the animal. All right. And now when inside here, you can change the second thing it's going to look for. It's going to look for the animal. And you have to make sure that they are spelled the same, or they won't be able to find each other. So now we have a basic attack for Big Bad. The pursue is going to pursue them. It's going to rotate towards, it's going to attack. You could probably set these back to their defaults. So you can go and reset. And then after wait, you could probably set these back to their defaults. And in fact, it's not. Let's actually make it a random. So he'll wait between 1 and 1.5 seconds before he tries to bite him again. And he doesn't have a weapon, so we can delete that. And Big Bat's basic attack is now complete. So let's see if he can take chunks out of Steve. Sees him, takes a bite out of him. Whoops. Another bite. Let's see. Look at Steve. Let's look at his health. Oh, he's got a way to go. We should probably set that to something lower, I think. Let's cheat and make it smaller. I'm doing a good job of waiting here. Yeah, I've never had him take this long before. Hmm. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, anyways, now the wolf will sit there and stare at him forever. He's not smart enough to know that he's not dead. So we have to fix that issue. So to fix that, we have to have Steve's body decompose. I guess it might be the easiest way to say that. So what we want to do before he meanders, we had a sequence. Well, and then just put destroy. Which is just the generic destroy action by behavior designer itself. And then while he's alive, have him meander. But if he's not alive, he will return a, a false status, which means he'll never run the destroy. So we have to add a decorator of return success every time. So now when he comes in a sequence, while alive, he'll meander, but when he's not alive, then he will decompose and die or disappear. And we want to have none, which is himself. It's going to do it on decompose after, say, 10 seconds. And while alive, we've got to make sure that we're checking ourselves again. And then meander. So let's change Steve to have less health. It was way too long to wait for Steve to work, to die. So now we got that. Let's try again. took a while. And he goes, and now Wolf's happy, and he just starts wandering around like before. Now, I'm pretty sure Steve doesn't just like to sit there and have chunks out of him being taken. So we're going to have Steve also fight back. Before we do that, let's fix the wolf to also decompose when he dies, just so that if Steve actually gets the better of him, that he will also disappear. Go to Steve, and we will take this portion here, yes, go to Big Bad, move that down, put this here, and then move this while alive, oops, move this while alive, attach it here, and we should be good to go. So if Wolf dies, he will decompose and disappear. Now, I'm pretty sure Steve doesn't like the big chunks being taken out of him and just running away. So let's give Steve some abilities here to do the same type of thing as Big Bad can. Instead of just meandering, we're going to make him act like Big Bad. So let's take Big Bad and let's take all that and add to Steve. Move that over. Control B. And then drop that to that. And he's not going to wander. He's actually going to meander, so we'll make him meander. And he's going to look for the wolf, not for himself. So we'll bring over Big Bad to what he looks at. And same type of thing, both, but there. So the thing is, right now he's actually fighting with his teeth, which probably isn't a good thing. So let's give Steve a gun to defend himself. Now, this is going to be the first time we actually go into Malbers Animations and do a little work in there. So first thing we want to do is give Steve a gun. Now, we could just use the generic gun that comes with out of Malbers, but they get shared between all characters. So if you had 5 different Steves or 5 different characters and they have the same gun, they all share the same bolt set. So when one runs out of bullets, they all run out of bullets, which isn't probably a good thing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to give Steve his own gun. So let's give him pistol collectible. And then let's bring that over to here. So what we want to do for the pistol collectible is take the shootable, and you want to make the shootable, and you want to get the ammunition, and this As you see, our variables which are shared. We want to make Steve's gun a 6-shooter, not 8-shooter. We want to, instead of using shared variables, we will create 2 new variables, and we will put them into the Malbers variables, which I preset in here so that they are there. And I'll go to we'll rename the first one to Steve's ammo, and the other one will be Steve's pistol, ammo pistol. And then we want to change the number of bullets in the chamber. Since he became a 6-shooter, we want to have only 6. But then we have an issue that 32 bullets would be fine for a player because they would know smart enough to go and find more ammunition and reload. In AI, you could, I guess, write the AI so at 1-0 go look for bullets. But since we're in test mode anyways, if you set it to -1, you'll have infinite ammo, and it won't have to worry about running out of ammo while testing. So now we get back to Steve's collectible gun. We're going to change this to be Steve's bullets and chamber, and this is going to be Steve's ammo. And then once we've done that, we'll take this and make a new prefab out of it. I've created a folder, deliberately taken a folder beforehand, and you want to create an original prefab, so therefore you don't have to worry about it being shared. And then we don't need this anymore. Now we have Steve with a gun, Steve's gun available. So let's bring Steve's logic back in here, or behavior back in here. And we're going to instead of just taking it, we're going to create a sequence but we're going to have him get his weapon. So we're going to set his weapon. And so we're going to have it, he's going to equip the weapon. And we're going to equip oh, we didn't rename it. Let's rename it so we can find it easier. Let's rename it as F2 called Steve's pistol collectible. Now if we go back into set weapon, find Steve, pistol collectible. Now after the fight, and Steve is victorious, we might as well have him Steve put away his weapon. So let's add a task to set the weapon again with the sequence. Oops, the sequence. But this time, the action will be to unequip the weapon. Now that we have the weapon unequipped, we're going to add the steps to fire our gun. And as we saw before, the simple fight had had a sequence all pre-ready to do that. So we can select this portion here, copy it, then go back to Steve's fight, or Steve's, and then we can get rid of this. We don't need that anymore because we're not using our teeth and nails. We're actually going to use a gun. So paste in that. And then let's join them up. And then since it's a gun, we don't have, we have to aim. They're not going to be just facing them, but we can do the full aim. So we can add the aim task to this. And when we aim at the target game object, which we defined way up here in the C. So when we saw the wolf, we're going to aim at it and we're going to fire at it. And then we can make sure we're aiming at it. Then the attack, we can reset these back to the defaults. But guns are a little bit quicker for firing animations. So we can do that there. And after the fight, after each shot, we'll reset the timer and we'll be the same as the wolf, give him a chance, and have it a random weight between that two pieces. Then they get the weapon, we get the ammo that's on this current weapon, and then we check to see if the ammo is 0. If the ammo is 0, then we reload. So now we have a fighting sequence that's set so we can get a better view of the fight, because the fight seems to be off to the side. So camera, and then align with view. Now the fight's in the screen area. So let's take a look and see what we have at this point. Of course, wolf wanders away. And something went wrong here. He's punching. So let's see, what did I do wrong here? Something that may not be obvious when we actually have to make a change to, here's the problem right now. Steve is, there's two methods in the system to handle weapons. You can use the holster method, which guns are put in holsters, and just like normal. But you can also have it so they auto-equip magically. So you down here in Weapons Manager, you click on holsters and then change it to external. This basically changes the method of the weapon being uh, instance of the weapon being added to him is now immediate and doesn't come from a holster, but just out of the ether somehow. So now if we run it this time, hopefully it's a little better. Wolf doesn't want to fight today. Nope. Steve's now firing at the wolf. And Steve reloaded, you saw that, after 6 shots. Oops, reloading again. And Steve shot, but now, let's pause for a second here. Steve will be chittering here once I unpause it. If I pause in time, he's confused whether he should be, the wolf's dead or not. So he's got the shakes after battle, I'm not sure which, but I think it's, oh no, it's because he didn't think the wolf was dead yet. So to fix that, we want a little cleaner end to the wolf, so that in here when Steve is checking for whether to put away his weapon or not, we check to see if the wolf's actually dead. So let's drag this over again. We will check, we have to check the state, so we're going to add an action of it to check the state of, oops, not action, it's a conditional of check the state. So we're going to check the state, and in here we check the state of Big Bad, see how he's faring, and we want to see what state he's in, and we're checking death. Now, what we really want is to see if he's not dead, so we can continue. If he's dead, then don't continue, just go back up through the tree. So we want a decorator of invert. So we hook up this to invert, and then the sequence to invert. And now let's make sure the wolf isn't so close to in his battle. So let's make wolf's health a little bit less than 100, so we can make sure that, well, not make sure, but increase the chances of the wolf dying before Steve does. And then we run this. And that wolf really does not want to fight today. Not to play. Oh, Steve saw him. He shot him. Shot him again. Shot him again. You see his health's going down. No, one more. And wolf's. He got him. And then Steve says, oh, he's dead. And he's just going to go and check out his tree. Victory is his. So now we've got all the behaviors. Let's take one final look at things here. So Big Bad Wolf, we've made him a little bit too easy to kill. We'll set him back to 100. And we made Steve a little bit too easy to kill as well. And I found that I think about 70 makes him pretty a fair battle. So if we can find the health, we can make that around 70. And now we have all that. We have all our behaviors for both Steve and the wolf. So, well, there's Steve's behavior, and then let's see Big Bad's behavior. And what we're going to do is, for one last grin and giggles, instead of playing focus, just go maximized and then enjoy our work. Enjoy our work. And Steve is victorious, and he gets to do whatever he wants with the tree.